Ready to rock? Thank you all so much for being here. Commissioner Chuck Steininger, Mayor Jeff Reed, Elliot Copeland from John Fetterman's office. We've got Bob Garrett from the Greater Susquehanna Valley Chamber, the president. Kim Wheeler from CEDACOG. Angelo Valletta from Ben Franklin Technology Partners and Wayne Bars. We've got Scott Dietrich from the Governor's Action Team. Thank you all for being here. All right, so 10 years ago, we were launching Gilson out of a middle school science classroom with our students, proving that failure and repetition are tools to be honed and critical ingredients of disruption. Our early team moved into a cabin in the woods with no running water or electricity, just a couple miles down the road from here, and hiked out each day to build our first shop and a donkey and horse stable. We acquired a 1976 Airstream and an old truck with 217,000 miles already logged, and we hit the road across America with our first 30 snowboards, heading to any mountain that would have us. We were rejected by the industry. We were told to get lost, and we were told that Pennsylvania doesn't belong. We were told that if we wanted to survive and be relevant, we better move to Colorado or someplace a snowboard and ski company should be. But the snowboarders and skiers we met along the road had a different opinion, and the way the Pennsylvania ecosystem supported us in those early days was nothing short of extraordinary. I knew we would never leave. 8 years later, that resolve was put to the test when our factory caught fire in the middle of the night and burned to the ground. We'd become the fastest growing snowboard and ski company in the world, defying the odds, breaking down the gates, and shipping PA-made products to over 50 countries from our small shop in Snyder County. And that night, it all came to a halt. Our team stood together on that hill and watched our baby burn as brave men and women from 6 different fire departments charged in and battled the blaze. Somehow, at 2 in the morning, word spread and the community began to gather once again to stand with us. In the days following, our phones did not stop ringing with people wanting to help however they could. And I now know that you can measure the strength of a community by the sheer amount of bagels and coffee that show up in a crisis. Everyone was looking at me to see how I would react. And honestly, people were concerned. Even my wife, Devika, because I was smiling. They thought I was in a state of shock. But in that moment, I knew that what should be a death blow would actually be an accelerant. I didn't know how, but what I did know is that what our people, this community, and this ecosystem would do with a blank slate on top of this foundation would be unbelievable. I had the privilege of feeling this way because no one was hurt, and because of the community enveloping us. You cannot burn a brand, and you cannot burn a movement. I did thank everyone for continuing to check in on my mental health, though. That was very much appreciated. I assured them I was okay, just highly motivated and excited for the future. Ben Franklin Technology Partners, White Rose Impact Fund, and Bill French, 3 absolute Pennsylvania powerhouses, supported us in ways I will never forget. When we get knocked down, this is how we get back up again. Bigger and stronger together. Now the 800-pound gorillas that told us to get lost are copying us in more ways than one. They are infringing on our patents, and we don't care because we are about to disrupt this industry once again and make their heads spin without setting foot in a courtroom. We know that if our competitors follow our lead, that's a good thing, because we are trailblazing a fundamentally better way of building business. We have eradicated overstock waste. Every single product we build has a home. We have created a fundamentally better customer experience, understanding that human beings are all different and should not be forced into a mass-produced box. We have pioneered an operating model that ties artists to the successes of their creations instead of paying them a flat rate and telling them to take a hike. We've engineered a higher quality product with locally grown trees instead of shipping logs from Europe to China and then back again as finished products. Wood is an amazing natural resource with carbon sequestration attributes built in. And when you can source locally, you tap into those wonderful benefits. Our snowboards and skis are quite literally grown by the Pennsylvania sun. And with Bill French and the Pennsylvania ecosystem, soon all of these machines will be powered by the same renewable resource. On display here today, We have multiple snowboards and skis created by Pennsylvania artists, and I want to highlight one in particular, Trippy Draws. When she designed her first snowboard and pair of skis, she brought her global audience of 9 million people along for the ride. She came out to our factory, gloved up, and built the very first one with our team, much like Governor Shapiro will today. We didn't need to tell her to bring her camera or that we'd pay her this much for a post. Instead, we launched the product together, and with only one unit in inventory, the snowboard we built that day. Today, millions of dollars of Trippy Draw snowboards have been shipped out around the world, each built for a human being instead of a warehouse shelf. She has earned a percentage of every single sale instead of being cut out of the deal because she is a true partner, and that is how you strengthen an already healthy ecosystem. We have begun to move the cost of acquisition away from platform tech companies in Silicon Valley and put that value in this young woman's pocket, like all our artists, who have made the courageous decision to pursue their passion and their career in the arts. Thank you all for supporting artists with us. I'd like to close with an invitation. Each year we throw a massive party at our factory called Summer Snow Day, with 30+ other PA companies, thousands of guests, live music, factory tours, and lots of free libations. This is our way of saying thank you and bringing our community together. I am eternally grateful to the Susquehanna River Valley Visitors Bureau for their continued support of the event. This year, Summer Snow Day will be held on August 10th, with details to be announced on our Instagram page and website soon. The event is free, but please secure your tickets ahead of time. I hope to see you there. I am deeply grateful for the Pennsylvania ecosystem we are so lucky to be a part of, and I am a big believer in the Outdoor Business Alliance being announced today. Thank you all. This is just the start.
Great job, man. Great job.
All right, please join me in welcoming Governor Shapiro.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks, Nick. All right. Let me just start by saying this may be one of the coolest places I've ever been. Yesterday, I was in the Capitol, and someone said to me, you know, Gov, I watch the news every day, and I just feel down. And I feel like kind of everybody's at everybody's throats, and, you know, like, how do you stay up every day? How do you stay positive every day? And, you know, I said to that person, I said, well, I get out of the Capitol, and I get around Pennsylvania, and I meet people that, you know, folks may not be talking about on the news every day, but are making huge differences in people's lives. They're employing people. They're doing interesting things with technology. In this case, they're doing interesting things with our natural resources. They're deeply committed to their craft. And these are the folks that inspire me every day. Nick is one of those people. And hell, I didn't even know him yesterday, and now I know him today. And I must tell you, he is, and the company he's built here at Gilson, these are the things that should inspire all of us every day. The incredible work they're doing, the smiles they put on people's faces, the pride they take in their craft, the way they got their butts knocked down and then they got right the hell back up and they were even stronger post-fire. This is really inspiring and this is exciting. And this is the kind of stuff we should all be focused on every day. By the way, Republicans, Democrats, rural, urban, suburban, this is cool stuff that should inspire all of us as Pennsylvanians. And Nick, I'm really grateful that you brought me here today to see what you've built here in Snyder County. It is truly extraordinary that you took this vision after being, as you described yourself, a science nerd, and then given back to our community and Teach for America in a classroom in some other state, not to be named. But then what he learned there, the excitement he had there, the passion he had there, he brought right here to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And thanks to our abundant natural resources, much like our poplar trees grow straight and tall and to the sky, this company, Gilson, which relies on those poplar trees, they're growing straight and tall, and the sky is the limit for them. These folks are really incredible. Nick, thank you for making Pennsylvania your home, and thank you for deciding to be a science nerd right here. And by the way, like the coolest science nerd I've ever met in my life right here. It's really amazing. You know, my family and I love to get outside. Just last month, I think it was, we were at Blue Mountain I got to go back and look in the pictures and see what kind of snowboards we were using.
We can Photoshop it.
All right, we'll Photoshop a Gilson snowboard. But getting outdoors is so critically important. And it's not just important to have amazing outdoor spaces. Under the leadership of Secretary Fundun from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. But you need the tools to be able to enjoy the outside. And Gilson is one of those companies that helps us enjoy the outdoors. You know, one of the things we love to do, as I said, as a family, is in the wintertime get on the slopes, or when the weather permits, we love to hike and we love to be outdoors. And I must say that being outside, I'm not a doctor saying this, but I think it does lower your blood pressure, right? Makes you feel better. And in these hyper-polarized times, you know what else getting outdoors does? It allows people that might disagree on some things to actually have a civil conversation, to engage and to enjoy one another's company. And my family and I love that, and we try and promote that every chance we get. And we want to invest in the businesses that make the outdoors more accessible and more fun to Pennsylvanians, just like Gilson Snow. Outdoor rec and tourism is big business in Pennsylvania. 164,000 jobs are supported by our outdoor recreation economy, and it contributes $17 billion to our Commonwealth's economy every year. You know, so for folks who think, this is just sort of a niche industry or sort of fun and not really important, let me tell you, it's not only important to those folks who are going snowboarding, this is critical to our economy and our competitiveness in Pennsylvania. I am competitive as hell. I want Pennsylvania to win. I want us to be number one at everything, especially when it comes to outdoor recreation. Our administration is trying to capitalize on the good work done at Gilson, the incredible things that happen on a Blue Mountain or happen on one of our trails in one of our amazing state parks, or the outdoor enjoyment people get on our state game lands. And we need to make sure that we invest. We need to make sure that outdoor rec is central to that. Your local elected officials here know that the stronger our outdoor recreation economy is, the stronger our main streets are, and the stronger our towns are all across Pennsylvania. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here today, to talk more about outdoor rec and to announce today the launch of the Pennsylvania Outdoor Business Alliance, and to seed that alliance with a state grant of $200,000. And I want to explain why this alliance is important. You all know about chambers of commerce. We've got one of the representatives of the chamber here. Chambers bring businesses together, but we haven't heretofore had a focus on bringing outdoor rec firms together to make sure that they're able to learn from one another. And so under the leadership of Secretary Fundun, by the way, her name is Secretary Dunn, I call her Secretary Fundun, 2 N's to match the 2 N's after Dunn, along with our Director of Outdoor Rec, Nathan Rigner, who is here, they are going to help lead this effort through our Outdoor Business Alliance. It's going to create opportunities for companies like Gilson to collaborate more. One of the things Nick talked about is in every one of these snowboards, he estimated about 15 different companies across Pennsylvania that help make that snowboard, not to mention the Pennsylvania poplar that goes into it. As an example, the ink that you see there and the incredible artwork is sourced from a Pennsylvania company. So this alliance is going to help create more connections for companies like Gilson and others to be able to source their materials from right here in Pennsylvania. It'll also provide a one-stop shop for questions related to regulations and marketing and different know-how, different ways to interact with our state government. And importantly, it is going to help them match the national market that Gilson has created for itself. It's going to open up more national markets to Pennsylvania companies. We think this alliance is really important, and I wanted to be here at Gilson, here in Selinsgrove, to make this announcement today. We think that this alliance is going to function, again, like a chamber of commerce, and we think that there is such untapped potential in this area. This sector of our economy, as I mentioned before, is huge, but it's never really had an organization pulling it together. And I want to be really clear about something. My attitude as governor, we don't sort of reach in and tell folks on the ground what to do, but we do try to reach in and complement the good work that's happening on the ground. That's why an alliance with this seed grant, working together with your big brains and your know-how, is going to really, we think, provide the kind of necessary support all across Pennsylvania for this one-stop shop. I want to make clear that under my administration, Pennsylvania is now open for business. We are working incredibly hard to both put resources out in the community to spur economic growth, to cut down all kinds of processing times. You should know that we made a commitment to reducing the time it takes to get a permit in Pennsylvania. I take that very seriously. Just one example, whether it's Gilson or any other business in Pennsylvania, you got to get a business license in order to open up your doors and operate. The day I was sworn in as your governor, just over a year ago, it took 8 weeks to get that standard business license. Today in Pennsylvania, it takes just 2 days. That's an example of how we are shaving off time. Time is money. We got to help our businesses get moving more quickly, and government in the past has been an impediment to that. Now we are working as your partners as quickly as we can. We are moving at the speed of business. In addition to moving quickly, we know we need to be focused and we need to invest. And so recently I announced, for the first time in 20 years, Pennsylvania has an economic development strategy. And one of the key focuses of that economic development strategy is recreation and tourism. We think this is really critical. God, you can clap for that. There you go. And so I think it's really important as well, as part of our economic development strategy, that we look to places like Gilson, we look to places like Snyder County, because you can't only have success economically in suburban office parks or high rises in Philly or Pittsburgh or other communities across this Commonwealth. And while those things are incredibly important, if you want to be competitive, if you want to win, as I do every day, you've got to be competitive everywhere in Pennsylvania, rural, urban, and suburban communities. And we want to make sure that we invest. I want you to consider this for a moment. We've now moved government more quickly. We've got a strategy. And yet, in order to be really successful, you got to have the dollars to commit to being more competitive. Each one of our neighbors around us, and think here, New York and New Jersey, they all invest more in economic development than Pennsylvania has over the last decade. Actually, consider this. Ohio has 1.5 million fewer people than Pennsylvania, and they invest 7 times the amount in economic development than we have. We got to invest if we want to be competitive. That's why the budget proposal that I put forth will invest hundreds of millions of dollars in preparing our sites and making sure that we can be more competitive when it comes to creating economic opportunity and jobs in our communities. We have got to catch up to what other states have done. And it's not just for big corporations, and it's not just on these big sites, which are important. My budget includes a $20 million investment to support innovation and entrepreneurs across Pennsylvania. So when the next nerdy scientist comes along and wants to start, you called yourself a nerd, by the way. It's not just me calling you that. And they've got a big idea. We want to be there with an innovation grant. We want to be there with some seed capital to help them get going. We think that that is critically important. We also know that when they're successful and they choose to locate in a place like Selinsgrove, the impact, the positive impact they can have on a main street is really, really important. And we think main streets are vital to the economic success of the community, which is why my budget invests $25 million to build up our main streets all across Pennsylvania. And we know we need to do the investment and the work to ensure that the natural resources that are used at a company like Gilson have what they need to be able to be successful. So my administration has increased funding for hardwood research and promotion by more than 50% during my time as governor to be able to support the kind of work that companies like Gilson are doing. And that is on top of specialty crop grants within the Pennsylvania Farm Bill that support our logging community and help them work safely and sustainably. Now is the time to invest if we want to be healthy in Pennsylvania, if we want to create jobs. And let me just offer this sort of broad vision of where we are fiscally in the Commonwealth, and then I'll yield the podium to our next speaker. Today in our Commonwealth, we are sitting on a $14 billion, that's with a B, a $14 billion surplus. That means over the last number of years, the Commonwealth has taken in $14 billion more from the taxpayers than they have invested. Now, I put forth a bold, aggressive budget, and I submitted it to the legislature for their consideration. And understand, I am the only governor in the entire country with a divided legislature. The Senate's led by Republicans, the House is led by Democrats. So everything I do, all the success we've had, is as a result of bringing Democrats and Republicans together to get stuff done. GSD, the mantra of our administration. So I understand that a budget has to be part of a bipartisan compromise. But just hear me on this. $14 billion surplus. Let's imagine for a moment that the legislature were to adopt everything I've proposed. And I know there'll be give and take, but just hear me on this. So that means more money for schools, more money for public safety, real significant investment in economic development. If they do everything I propose, and by the way, I'm also proposing to cut taxes as well, we will still have an $11 billion surplus after all those investments are made. Why am I sharing this with you? Because now is the time to invest in Pennsylvania. Now is the time to bet on Pennsylvania. And now is the time to make sure that we have capital available for the next Gilson and the one after that and the one after that. That we invest in areas that are going to spur economic growth like outdoor recreation. I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm competitive as hell. I want us to win. I want us to do big things again in Pennsylvania. And I believe we can do that by making critical investments in outdoor recreation, by lifting up great companies like Gilson, and by giving people hope and inspiration again that we're doing great things as a result of the wonderful entrepreneurship that Nick and his colleagues here at Gilson have shown. So I want to say thank you to all of you for having me here today. Thank you for what you're building, Nick. It is incredibly exciting. I can't wait for the next chapter and the one after that. One of the leaders in my administration who cares so deeply about our outdoor spaces and protects them every single day in her job is the aforementioned Secretary of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, and that is Secretary Cindy Fun Dunn, and I'd like to invite her up to say a few words right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here today beside Governor Shapiro, who really recognizes the value of the outdoors and outdoor recreation industry. He came onto the job with that knowledge and understanding. Within 2 weeks of being on the job, he came over to the Rachel Carson State Office building and spoke to our staff, fully understanding the needs, the support, the value of time in the outdoors to the citizens of Pennsylvania and its place in our economy, its place in our future. And in addition to fun, I'd like to say I'm in the business of inspiration. I will take a word from Nick's speech and say, his inspiration is drawn from nature. His inspiration and hope is drawn from nature. And I think that's a secret sauce that Pennsylvania really has with our parks, our forests, our mountains, our trails. From the big rivers in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia to the trail systems we have across the state, some of which the governor himself as a county commissioner built foot by foot by foot through difficult situations. These natural assets are the backbone of the outdoor recreation industry, providing materials like the wood, providing inspiration, providing the places that people visit and spend money, providing the many businesses like Nick's. Nathan Rigner, when he was hired to come on as our Director of Outdoor Recreation, has steadily started finding these businesses. But this Outdoor Business Alliance that we're launching today will allow him to call all outdoor businesses, find them everywhere, whether the ice cream shop serving the rafters, whether the ice cream shop serving the campers, whether it's the beer company that really uses an outdoor motif for the brew pub experience, whether it's a creative spirit of the artists that are so involved in outdoor recreation, the builders, the manufacturers, the providers, the outfitters. It's big, and we're going to find them all and understand what they really need. So this is an important next step. Stood with Governor Shapiro in Fayette County and Connellsville on the Great Allegheny Passage with the Mayor Lincoln, who has the trail as a central economic strategy for his community. And the Comfort Inn, the brew pubs, the ice cream shops, the energy bar providers, all these businesses, the outfitters were there, and they're hanging their hope on outdoor recreation as a thing that'll raise Pennsylvania. And when the governor says he's competitive as hell, it's really, really true. In cabinet meetings, if you mention another state, he wants to go get them and beat them. So we're going to beat Ohio. We're going to leave New York in the dust. We've already left New Jersey in the dust. But anyway, we are going to really win this, and supporting our economies through outdoor recreation and being that element for the governor's economic strategy that we can be. And this is really a first for Pennsylvania. You'll be hearing from Secretary Redding. The ag industries have really coalesced and come together. Everyone understands the ag industries from the long time work they've done. But we're going to do the same for the recreation businesses, really bring them together, understand what they need, and take the next step. So we know the natural resources are the critical base for this. We'll continue to take great care of them at DCNR. In addition, we're really proud of Nathan Ringner, Dr. Nathan Ringner, who we hired a couple years ago, who launched the Office of Outdoor Rec under Governor Shapiro, and is now, I think he's the only one that maybe travels more in the state than Governor Shapiro, or at least as much. He's out there every weekend, he's trying all the recreations, he's meeting the businesses, he's out there all the time finding these folks. So this is really a coming out party for the outdoor businesses of Pennsylvania to be recognized, understood, organized, and supported by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania under Governor Shapiro and with the help of Dr. Nathan Ringner. So with that, I'll give you Nathan.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction, Secretary Dunn. Thank you, Governor, for your support of this work. It's very nice to be here with you this morning to talk about the launch of our Outdoor Business Alliance here in Pennsylvania. You know, Pennsylvania outdoor businesses, we have national leaders like Dick's Sporting Goods. We have innovators, I'll say global innovators like Gilson Snow. We have community-embedded businesses like the Richport Adventure Company in Muncie. And these businesses together, regardless of their scale, regardless of the sector that they're in, they drive our economy forward. They provide family-sustaining jobs for Pennsylvanians. And I think importantly, they give us brands and companies that we can be proud of here in Pennsylvania. I think a true mark of a 21st century company is when it can be both nerdy and cool at the same time. And that's something Gilson Snow demonstrates for us. So recognizing the power and potential of our outdoor industry, we in the Commonwealth, with Governor Shapiro's leadership, are investing in our outdoor industry. We're investing in it by growing the private sector component through an Outdoor Business Alliance and partnering with those businesses through Pennsylvania's Office of Outdoor Recreation. At the end of last summer, Governor Shapiro established Pennsylvania's Office of Outdoor Recreation. This winter, we came forward with our strategy and roadmap for the work we are going to do to grow, unite, and strengthen Pennsylvania's economy. And here today, we are celebrating and we are announcing getting our first step done, establishing a Pennsylvania Outdoor Industry Association. I want to share just a few details with you about how we're going to do this. The first thing, as Governor Shapiro alluded to, we are gathering together industry leaders from Pennsylvania to tell us what does the outdoor industry need from collective advocacy. While those of us in the outdoor recreation and in the Commonwealth have a good handle on the outdoor industry, it's only our industry leaders that can tell us what we need. So we're going to listen to them. And we're going to listen to them by going through an engagement and input process. This afternoon, the Southern Alleghenies Planning and Development Commission is going to be making public a request for proposals to bring on a consultant to help us with this project. That's the work we're going to be conducting over the next several months. And we have a call to action in this. We have a call to action for all of our Pennsylvania outdoor businesses. With the media materials from this press conference and in all of our engagements moving forward, we're going to be asking Pennsylvania outdoor businesses to visit a web form. Tell us who you are. Tell us about your business. Tell us what you need. Only with your input are we going to be able to serve, grow, and support your industry. We're very excited about this. We thank you very much for being here. It's now my pleasure to introduce my colleague and friend, Marcus Schaffner, President and CEO of the Outdoor Inclusion Coalition. Marcus.
hello, everyone. I am thrilled to be here in this space today. Just reminiscing on the time that I spent with the Gilson team earlier in 2023. The Outdoor Inclusion Coalition is extremely excited and happy for the creation of the Outdoor Business Alliance. The Outdoor Inclusion Coalition is the largest outdoor-focused coalition in the state of Pennsylvania. We focus on opportunities and access to recreation and industry jobs. So we create recreational experiences that span the vastness of Pennsylvania, the recreational landscape, and open eyes of youth and young adults to opportunities and careers in the marketplace. A lot of the community that we work with are the unseen, the unheard, and the unrecognized. The opportunities to come to a facility like Gilson opens up so many vast opportunities for the future of entrepreneurs, business owners, and creators in this space. From our first member organization to our 200th, which is where we stand today, we've always been seeing investments in future entrepreneurs, business owners, and economic impact within the outdoor industry as a top priority. We are trying to set the future vision for creators and young adults. It comes with great joy to see Governor Shapiro's investment in making Pennsylvania a leader in economic development, job creation, innovation, with the outdoors being really a centerpiece for this initiative. In late 2023, the fall season, the Outdoor Inclusion Coalition brought 8 students to this same facility. They were able to walk around, experience the craftsmanship of making a ski and a snowboard. And the joy and curiosity that I was able to see in Governor Shapiro's face today while walking around is the exact same experience I saw with kids. It's extremely impactful to know that the next generation is being supported by organizations such as Gilson and the aforementioned Outdoor Business Alliance. From watching Pennsylvania poplar wood take shape to pressing custom top sheets as a glue sticks to a board, the students experience the vast opportunities in the outdoor industry. Seeing themselves, their friends riding the boards that they designed here in this facility gave them great joy in winter sports, sparked the interest in the outdoor future, and built personal pride and sustainability, community harvest products, and opportunities that the industry is coming forth with. Opportunities like the affirmed quote that "to know is the first step of acquiring knowledge" we experienced in November 2023, that all students not just want to make a snowboard, not just want to be in the industry in winter sports, but now want to be ski and snowboard manufacturers. But honestly, hands-on exploratory experiences that lead to workforce development is what's going to set Pennsylvania apart. We accomplished something that no other state has dreamed of. No other state has had a nonprofit provider work directly with a consumer product manufacturer to create an experience that the students get the hands-on experience for. With the intentionality of initiatives like the Outdoor Business Alliance, brands like Gilson Snow, and community-based recreational providers, we are opening up the opportunities for recreation and job placement within the state of Pennsylvania. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Gilson team. I couldn't be more thankful. The kids couldn't be more thankful for the opportunities that are provided. The outdoor industry is such a space that crafting a product, creating value and opportunity is something to be prideful of. And the students had the chance to take part in that. I had a chance to take part in that, so thank you for that. Thank you, Governor Shapiro, DCNR, and all of the supporting organizations for lifting the Outdoor Business Alliance and investing in outdoor recreation industry. With that, I will hand it over to Secretary Redding.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I've known in every program, when you get to this point, the most important thing you can say is thank you, right? It is amazing. We stepped in here today. I know this began in a classroom, but this factory is also a classroom. We learned about physics. We learned about the natural resources and trade and competition. We learned about people and their contributions to both the success of Gilson, but also to Pennsylvania. I want to say thank you to this team, right? It's really inspiring. I think I know agriculture, that I'm humbled every day when I meet someone like Nick, right? That you learn about what it takes here to bring in our Pennsylvania forest and take full advantage of the natural assets. So thank you for what you do, Nick, and the vision, but also the opportunity this community has. But I'm also thankful for Governor Shapiro. I've said this many times, that there is sort of a infusion where these things are pulled together much like the blank of a board, right? The poplar board becomes this board, right? And that is sort of what we're doing in the space around economic development. You take the natural assets of a state, you bring in the people, right? You look around you and you see the business and opportunity that we have here in this state. You infuse that with really good critical thinking and people who inspire you. You take full advantage of what it is that we call commerce in the state. You put food in, you put tourism in, you put manufacturing and robots. All of that is inside what the governor has proposed in the economic strategy for Pennsylvania. And I see in this board and in this place that strategy. It all comes together, it works together, it's fused to produce an amazing product. That's where we find ourselves. So I'm thankful every day that we live in a state with the assets that we do, with the people and the leadership that's here. So thank you for being here. To Nick and the Gilson team, thank you. The governor, thanks for your leadership every day and guiding us, helping to form and really give us the chance to see the full potential of Pennsylvania. Governor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. I'm going to take some questions from the media, but I just want to put an exclamation point on something the Secretary said about that fusion, about that innovation, about our natural resources. Nick, there are many snowboards out there, but there are no snowboards out there that have the uniqueness of Gilson, both the artwork, the Pennsylvania wood that is used, the handcrafting that's done. These are incredible snowboards, not only to look at, but obviously to use. We're not far away from another company that does kind of the same thing, the fusion of our outdoors, about excellence and about something that, that creates a one-of-a-kind asset. And that is Martin Guitars in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Another example, there's plenty of guitars out there, but there's only one Martin, and it's here in Pennsylvania, and it's from Pennsylvania wood, Pennsylvania craftsmanship, and they are obviously the leaders in the global marketplace. Gilson is following that same path. They will be the leader in the global market of creating not just an excellent product made out of Pennsylvania hardwood, but just such uniqueness and unique craftsmanship that is going to make it the envy of the entire marketplace. And Nick, I can't wait to see what comes next. I'm so excited for you and your team. Thank you. I think we've covered everything, but if any members of the media have any questions, Nick is happy to answer them for you. Okay, well, I think we'll continue on with our tour. Yeah.
With the media about Bob Garrett from the Chamber of Commerce, you know, you think about words for today's event, and fantastic, inspired, come up, brilliant, I would add to it. But from the chamber world to the suggestion to the alliance is another word, which is a mashed up word, coopetition, is what we've learned in agriculture, what Sidney Dunn knows from days in canoes, is you have to cooperate, you have to compete too to keep your edge. Yep. And I would suggest that word as you go forward with the alliance, coopetition.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.